Welcome to the Ed Leaders Edge podcast, where we interview innovators and thought leaders in the field of education who are helping students thrive. I'm your host, Ed Madison. I'm a professor and researcher at the University of Oregon, an educational consultant, and serve as executive director of the Journalistic Learning Initiative, a nonprofit organization that empowers elementary, middle, and high school students to discover their voice, improve academic outcomes, and become self-directed learners through project-based storytelling. Welcome to our program. Well, welcome back to the podcast. Joey Adame is superintendent at Los Molinos Unified School District in Chico, California, which has a tradition of excellence, continuous improvement, and high standards. The district strives to help students learn, become critical thinkers, and to become responsible members of our democratic society. Welcome, Joey.
Hey, good morning. Thank you for having me, Ed.
Yeah. So you're doing great work there. I saw in 2019 your CTE Career Technical Education Program won an award. And let's just talk about CTE first and tell me about some of the things that you're doing.
Sure. So when I arrived here in 2017, one of the things that we looked at was our career technical ed pathways, and we found out that they were not sequentially organized, meaning we didn't have beginning courses, concentrator courses, and capstone courses. So one of the things we had to do was realignment. So we went ahead and did that. And then we added some additional courses, like, for example, we added a computer science pathway, we added a animal science pathway, early childhood development pathway. And it's a small school, so our idea was just to make it a career technical ed environment with options for kids to either go to a university system or pick an industry and a trade school or so on. And we implemented a welding facility, state-of-the-art welding facility. It just really took off, to be honest. We're doing a lot of really cool things with the kids. In fact, we just started we have an excellent culinary arts pathway. And I think we're one of the first high schools to do their own catering business. We bought a taco trailer and we're doing tacos, our signature tacos, and we're catering that out to other schools and communities, which is pretty awesome. So, yeah, I'll talk a little bit about that more. But in 2019, we were recognized as a district. So we received 2 awards that year. The district received a exemplary district for CT implementation, and then the high school was recognized as a distinguished high school for California because a combination of their career technical ed pathways as well as math and English scores. We had an excellent year that year, so as well as our English language learner proficiency. So that's kind of like the background on that year, 2019. But career technical ed is one of our trademarks as a high school, and we're still thinking about different innovative things that we can do to help kids compete in the real, in the job market. And my goal has always been to get kids to at least have a job or some kind of a plan when they graduate. Either you're going to go to a 4-year or a community college, or you're going to go into some kind of a trade school so that you can at least be able to take care of yourself financially and be able to pay your bills. And sometimes kids don't realize that when they graduate, they got to pay their own cell phone bill,
Right.
or have their own money to go, take out their girlfriend or boyfriend out to eat. They got to have that money. So
Yeah.
that's
Well, so tell me about the demographics of the school and what percentage are second language English learners?
So we're about 68% Latino,
Okay.
and the rest is Caucasian. I want to say we're about 79 socioeconomic disadvantage population. So a lot of our kids are free and reduced lunch. We have quite a bit of poverty in our area. And English learners, we're about 26% English learners.
Okay.
Maybe slightly higher than that. So we do have a significant number of our kids, mostly Latino students that are English learners. Every year we get kids coming to us with limited to no English
Hmm.
speaking. And
Hmm.
so we have to just think outside the box as far as what we can do with those kids. And most of the
Hmm.
time, when we do get a kid that comes to us at the high school level with limited to no English and no prior academic high school level coursework in Mexico, we try to plug those kids into a career technical ed pathway with a certification so that even though they might not meet the qualifications of a diploma, they'll be able to leave with some industry certifications that they can at least go out and get a job.
Hmm.
So that's something that's really important. I think um, it's what's best for the kid. You know, they want to be here. They want to learn English a little bit, but also, you know, as a high school, we have to do whatever we can, to also provide those kids a service so that they can, go out and at least get a job instead of working in the fields.
Hmm. I'm always curious to ask administrators what was the thing that got you excited and ignited about wanting to become an educator and also a leader. Was there a particular teacher in your past or something that resonated with you that has you do
Yeah.
the work that you do?
So, you know, Ed, I grew up in a very, proud Latino home. I was one of those kids that worked in the fields as a kid. You know, I picked peaches, prunes in the summer in the heat. And, you know, I remember my parents telling me, hey man, either you're going to do this in 100-degree heat or you're going to have to go to school, right? And do something with your life to break the chain of poverty. So for me, it was just about, trying to elevate, trying to, be a role model for my brothers as well, who were younger than me. And I wanted to set an example for them so that they can go to school. And, but I had to tell you, I had this principal in, 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 in high school. Awesome lady, man, Miss Carr. She was this African American lady that was just, gosh, she was just incredible. And she treated me like I was really smart when I really wasn't. And she would plug me into these different courses, and I remember she selected me to be in the academic decathlon in high school. And I remember all my friends making fun of me because I had to wear this academic decathlon sweater on Fridays to go compete, and, and she made me believe. She made me believe that I could be a scholar. And I think I'll always be grateful for her for giving me that confidence. And sometimes as kids, we need that drive. We need somebody to believe in us, to help us understand our capability or our potential of being something great.
Let's step away from our conversation for a moment for me to tell you about the Journalistic Learning Initiative's innovative educational tools and services. If you're looking to make the best decision for your teaching staff and students about AI adoption, improving student engagement, strengthening writing skills, promoting social media mindfulness, or enhancing college and career readiness, please take a moment to visit our website at journalisticlearning.org. Our team of University of Oregon researchers offer customized AI tools, instructional materials, professional development, and consulting. Research confirms that students with journalistic learning experience outperform their peers on numerous key indicators for college and career readiness. At the heart of our work is empowering learners to become effective communicators. If you think about it, effective communication is critical in every human interaction, whether it's writing an essay for a grade or being interviewed to secure employment. Since 2015, JLI has benefited nearly 20,000 students and served schools in 15 states and the District of Columbia. I invite you to schedule an appointment to explore how JLI can improve your students' learning outcomes. Now back to our program. And I have to imagine that you see yourself in when you are engaged with your students in your district. You must see yourself, and it allows you to actually share from the same place that they may be thinking about. Right? How do you bring your own experience into the work that you do and how you engage with students?
Oh, absolutely. That's something that I really like doing, by the way, and I think that has a lot to do with my prior school counselor experience. That's my first position coming into the profession. But I always look at kids as developing throughout their career, right? They're going to make mistakes. They're going to find themselves. And I think as leaders, especially at my level as a superintendent, we have to promote a system of a restorative justice approach working with kids. We have to understand that they're going to make mistakes, but also work with them to really build them up so that they can be successful. So for me, I see myself in some of these kids, especially the ones that were, you know, can be a little bit crazy. you know, like I like I was a little bit in high school. So whenever I see a kid like that, I just
Yeah.
try to take them under my wing
Yeah.
and work with them as much as I can, just because I know that they need somebody. They need somebody to help guide them. So for sure, yeah.
We're hearing so much about mental health concerns for this generation, and I'm just curious, what you're observing and how
hmm
you're addressing, the needs of students who may need a little bit more support in that area.
Yeah, well, I think, after COVID, I think you probably talked to other leaders, Ed, that, that isolation during COVID really impacted students, not being able to connect with their friends and not being able to, social media kind of gave them an outlet, but it's nothing like face-to-face conversations. So after COVID, we really looked at our positive behavioral intervention system and supports throughout the district and really looked at different models that we can implement. And we continued with our PBIS work as well as implementing additional programs for our kids, like mentoring programs. We hired a school social worker. That's a first for this district to help students with, by guiding group counseling, social skill development with students, just to give them an opportunity to talk with each other in a intimate setting so that they can at least be able to release some of the inner struggles that they're experiencing and have somebody help them navigate through possible solutions or at least some healing to whatever it is that they're dealing with. But yeah, it's I think every district in the nation is dealing with this, and I think we're all focused on the social emotional well-being of our students, but also the social structure of the students as well, and helping them kind of understand the pressure of whatever environment factors that they're living with and how to, move forward with the the idea of having a future, but still having a social structure where you can have friends and
Mhm.
that kind of thing.
How about supporting immigrant parents? I know it's can be common for the student to have more proficiency, with English than their parents, and also immigrant parents sometimes um, don't know just sort of the ways in which to navigate filling out forms, and whether it be to take the SAT or even to
Mm-hmm.
apply for
Mm-hmm.
scholarships and things like that. How do you help those
Mm-hmm.
parents?
I think first and foremost, there has to be documents that need to be translated to their language. For us, it's mostly Spanish. But if you live in a different demographic where you have multiple languages, then those have to be translated first and foremost so that parents can have access uh, to that verbiage, to that information that is critical for them to be able to make decisions for their children or help them guide them through that process. So in addition to the translation of documents, also having venues for those parents to connect with the school, whether that be a English language advisory committee or other forms of committees where those parents can get involved and be able to receive information in areas that they might not have access to. So at least for us, is it's been just really providing multi translation of documents, providing different forums for those parents to be connected with, and then also face-to-face discussions with them. So, see, I'm bilingual, so when I go to the schools and I see some of our parents, I reach out to them, let them know that there's somebody here that can support them, and if they have any concerns or anything that they might need, that they can come to me. And
Hmm.
so, and I have other staff as well that's bilingual and bicultural, so there's connections there as well. And so I think you kind of have to look at it from a systems approach for a
Hmm.
district. You have to look at translation services, forums for these parents, and then leaders making connections with those parents to make them feel comfortable. Some of it's cultural,
Right. Sure.
sometimes our parents, at least from my experience, Latino parents sometimes, they won't go to a school unless there's somebody there that speaks Spanish, right? Or speaks
Right.
their language. And when they
Right.
know there's somebody there, they're more willing to go there
Right.
and talk to them. So that's just another area where,
Yeah.
we have to
Yeah.
be aware of,
Yeah.
for
I
sure.
can't let you go without asking about AI and how you're thinking about AI in your district and in terms of its benefits, concerns.
Hmm. It's interesting you bring that up because one of my board members recently reached out to me about, what we're going to do as a district, as far as a board and how we're going to monitor AI implementation. I see some benefits to AI within the classroom environment, in regards to the instructional framework, maybe tapping into some different resources for
Hmm.
students. But I also see, at least for us, it's been a concern as far as the plagiarism and all that, and
Right.
what does that look like, and you know, how do you identify an AI generated essay
Right.
or research paper compared to
Right.
that? And that's something we have to embark in. So we're starting
Right.
the initial stages of that in regards to, what AI. First of all, we need to understand what AI platforms are currently available
Right.
for students in their social setting, and then what's available in the educational setting,
Right.
and analyze those platforms and find out how they work, first and foremost, how they work uh, from a technology perspective, device
Yeah.
perspective, and I think teachers, administrators, we need to start really immersing ourselves in what these platforms look like, how they operate, before we start looking at, okay, what's going to be good for us,
Yeah.
what's not going to be good for us. And then you also have the student social media AI that's a little bit scary too, right? Because
Right.
there's things that they're creating like, wow, I didn't know you could do that. I didn't know you
Right.
could impersonate somebody else through AI.
Right.
And that's kind of
Right.
crazy. And
Right.
so, and I
Right.
think, yeah, so there's
Well,
different areas.
I will share with you offline about the work that we're doing here in Oregon.
Mhm.
We have a project that we're doing so that's been adopted statewide. It's called SASSY, which is short for
Okay.
Sasquatch. That's the
Yeah.
Bigfoot phenomenon,
Yeah.
and
I got you.
it's a CTE tool that supports students in exploring career opportunities, and people love it. So I'll give you some
Yeah,
information about that. We can
definitely. For
talk
sure.
offline about it. Well, thank you so much. How do people learn more about your district, the website, and everything else, and you?
Yeah,
Um,
we're just in, Google, Los Molinos Unified.
okay,
We are doing a lot of work with UC Davis and their
wonderful.
system robotics program, which is just amazing. And that's something that is, it's up and coming. It's innovative. And the way I always tell people is, if a kid can teach computer programming at a kinder level, you can imagine what their skill level will be when they become a senior in high school.
Yeah,
They'll be able to at least go get an introductory job, in a computer-based company. And that's kind of where we're all going. It doesn't matter what industry, ag, you name it, there's going to be computer generated platforms that are going to be operating different types of machinery, different systems. So for us, That's something that we're really going to really plant our feet on and move forward with computer programming as a district.
Terrific. All right. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it.
The Ed Leader's Edge podcast is produced by the Journalistic Learning Initiative. Please check out our latest books, Language Arts in Action from W.W. Norton Publishing, and Raising Empowered Learners from Rauman and Littlefield. For more information about our work, please visit journalisticlearning.org or edleaderedge.org. Thanks for listening.